someone has been asked, or Danielle's been asking about stretching. I know stretching is performed around the world, and it shouldn't be. We're the only species that believes in stretching. And you're like, oh, my dog stretches all the time. No, they don't. They contract, right? What you're doing, what you're seeing is actually a contraction and a release, right? If you ever see a dog lie down, they sit there and they go, ugh, and then they're out. You know, I wish we could go to sleep that easy. So, but at the same time too, if they go to wake up, they're up. You know what I mean? They don't need that cup of coffee. Their muscles work in response to the movement. So now people go, oh, Michelle, you've got to warm up your muscles. No, you don't. So first of all, what happens to a rubber band when you stretch it? It snaps back, right? What you need is functional movement. Now, this is one of my, I did this at Oxford. I had it when I was presenting at Oxford. I handed out button toys so people can feel, I should have seen if it was, I was twisted or not. And so this is an old time toy, the button toy. Now, what I love about life is the fact that I'm old, we've played with things. I really feel bad for our kids today because they don't play with stuff. And one of this is the button toy, and this is actually how a muscle functions. That's why I'm getting it out. But I'm sorry, I should have had it untwisted and ready to go. I'm really good at untwisting, but it does better with the glasses. And so when you're actually looking in the inside of the muscles, and you can read my papers on this, but the sarcomeres, which your muscle cells, the myosin-actin collection, right? It spins, it rotates, and it goes into that. And that's what creates perpetual motion. I'm not talking about perpetual motion, you know, like unlimited energy, but in a sense, yes, unlimited energy within our bodies because it's based off of rotation. And our rotation is also based off of going off this planet. The planet rotates. So we counter rotate, and we have to have those things. And we don't do this. This is why we're special needs. Right? This is where we have my 21 theories in biological gravity. But anyway, so if you're looking at a button toy, if you didn't know what that was, so you twist the item and then you spin it, right? Okay, there we go. So when I'm going, my muscle cells, right? And you can hear it. My muscle cells are spinning and then reverse counter spinning. And this is how I get a movement. So when I'm doing palm or plantar, any of those kind of things, it doesn't matter where it is, right? And the spin allows us to move 360 degrees. And so when I have passive muscles, they have a tonus, but at any time, my muscles can spin like this. Now, when I have cerebral palsy, it just gets tight. The spin gets caught. When I have low tone, right, it is really hard to get my spin going. And this is where, again, you have that hypotonic responses, right? And I can't restart my muscle function. So again, people go, let me stretch. I can stretch all I want this way. I'm not going to get functional movement. So again, it's a really big, different kind of conversation that I have based off of what you're being taught out there. But I can tell you right now, or you can have people come in right now that you've been stretching your kids for a long time and you're not getting anywhere. Movement comes from functional movement. Stretching is not a functional movement, right? So do I warm up before I go out, you know, and work out? Lots of times, no, I just don't do it. Now, when you see me really going hardcore, because I superset out, so I'll do a really heavy weight and then I'll superset it. So in other words, I do like a lat pull down at 85 pounds. I do my sets in that, and then I turn around and drop it to 40 pounds, and then I do about 6 different sets. So I go out, 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 reverse, out, and go around. And so that's how I work out. So I'm doing about 60 movements at 40 pounds, and then I'm doing, you know, the 10 to 15 movements, let's say at 85 pounds, depending on where I'm at with what piece of equipment. So I let that cardio come in, even though I'm in a weight lift mode, and I change my hand position so my muscles are getting it, and that rotation's happening, even though it's a little linear basis, getting it from all different areas. I like cables, I like pulleys, because I'm working that way with the weights. But when I'm working with, again, do I stretch per se? No. one of the things you'll see me go into is if I'm doing a heavy weight, I'll bring out, let's say, my calves, and I'll go into push-up. And then I'll go back and push my calves out. And then I'll go, so I change the position around it. So the muscle's going from, again, one functional movement to two functional movements. So that builds, if you're looking for that tonus and the muscle functions to go higher, that you can handle strength, that builds a muscle way faster than doing one set, sitting there on your phone, doing another set, sitting there on their phone. So I might work out 3 times as hard in a half hour than most people do in an hour. So again, that's adult-based concepts. I'm working with volleyball player right now, and please, I can't even begin to tell you that, you know what I mean? Like, he's feeding his baby. I'm working on his shoulder in 3 seconds, and he's like, and I'm like, see, did I stretch you? Did I use force? And he's like, no. Like, everything you've been telling me is completely different than everything I've ever learned, and your stuff works. So please, I know you have tight muscles, and we're going to have to deal with this. And you're in a situation where because they can't oppose gravity using that rotation, you're going to have tight muscles as long as you can't oppose gravity. To oppose gravity, it has to have rotational responses. It just won't happen otherwise, without the muscles being exerted into levels they just aren't meant to be exerted.